All right, Buckets, tell me how basketball can actually relate to real life.
Basketball and sports in general actually places you in a position to develop life skills involuntarily, unbeknownst to yourself when you're a child, and when you get older, you actually take some of those tools and you utilize them. I mean, you can become a team captain, so you learn leadership skills. You might have the ball coming down the court with 4 seconds left and the game is tied, so you learn to work well under pressure. First thing you learn is teamwork, working together to complete a common goal. You learn time management. You know, you have to figure out how to practice with your team and how to work on your craft outside of practice, as well as you have homework, you have a social life and things of that nature. So it gives you all of these life lessons and life skills unbeknownst to you until you get older and you realize, wow, I have a lot of qualities that I took from the game of basketball.
Really applying those to your real life. You can go
Exactly.
into the workplace and get along with people better because you played with people your whole life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about why it's important to kind of embody some of those things that you're learning. You learn about the teamwork, you learn about working with other people. Why is it important to include that in your life? How do you think that it's helped you overall?
I think it's very important to include that because that's what it's all about. I don't think there's one person on this earth that works alone. You have to work with others. You have to be able to, no matter what's going on in your life in general, whether it's your personal life or whatever, you can't bring that to the workplace. So you have to work well with others to accomplish a goal. You know, everybody naturally wants to be happy, and in order for that kind of utopia to take place, you have to be capable of working in a positive manner with your colleagues, whether it's on the court or whether it's in, you know, in the workplace.
Now you have a few tips for everyone that's going to really help them understand how to apply basketball to real life.
Yes.
So the first one is shoot your shot. We've all heard that. Explain how that applies.
Well, you know what? You know, we're all different. Okay, so shoot your shot. You got to go for your goals. You know, when you're on the basketball court, people shoot differently. You know, my jump shot's a little bit different than some of my teammates or whatever, but it's my jump shot.
Way different than mine, which is terrible.
I'm not going to say your jump shot's terrible. You are long range Grant.
I forgot my nickname.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to be you. You know, when you're trying to achieve your goals, you have to shoot your shot. You can't shoot anybody else's because that's your uniqueness that you have to offer to the rest of the world. So you got to keep those goals in mind, and you got to stay focused. So you got to make sure you do it the way you do it. You shoot it the way you shoot it, because that's the way you've learned, and then you can apply that to the other aspects of your life off the court. You know, I know prior to me playing basketball, I've had several jobs. You know, I did clerical work at a Social Security office. I worked at a Boys and Girls Club, and I also mentored kids. You know, so I had an opportunity to apply that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to share this story with these kids of how when I'm on the court and I'm playing basketball, I don't try to play like anyone else. I play like myself. I shoot my own shot. So you shoot your shot, and you'll succeed a lot faster in life. If you try and shoot like someone else, it's going to be tough to reach those goals.
Now, in order to be a Globetrotter and be so successful, you had to have shot your shot at a good time and gone after it. You know, your dreams and your goals of making it happen. What is a story you can tell me about you shooting your shot and it actually happening for you?
I played college ball, obviously, and then I played professionally on other teams before I became a Harlem Globetrotter. But when the Globetrotters came calling, I was like, oh, I was excited, but I was nervous because I was like, I don't know any of those tricks. I don't know like one trick. I was like, oh, okay, I do know how to spin it on my finger, so let's start with that. But when I got on the team, they like, oh, it's all about basketball. It's about the game of basketball. The tricks will come later. So I was like, okay, they made me feel more comfortable in that aspect. And then all of a sudden, I got around some of the veterans, and besides spinning the ball on the finger, I noticed they were rolling around their arms, and rolling around their arms, and then they'd roll it behind like this. And I was like, okay, so I started working on that stuff, and I developed a routine. So not only did my game on the court get better, but then the tricks that I learned, we call them the ball handling skills, got better. So I overcame that hump because that was tough, and I think a lot of players kind of shy away from the Globetrotters if the Globetrotters come calling because they're scared that they don't know any tricks. But for those of you out there, they're looking for 3 criteria. They're looking for great basketball players, great athletes, and great people. The tricks will come later.
Gotcha. So that's when you shot your shot.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's say you shoot probably like me, and then it doesn't go in the basket. So you have to catch the rebound. How does that apply to life? Catching the rebound when it just doesn't work out.
You know what? That's what rebounding is all about. It's all in that one word, rebound. When you know, they tell you when, you know, you learn to ride a horse, you fall off the horse, you can't give up. You got to get back on that horse and try and figure it out. Well, if you're shooting your shot and the ball keeps missing, you have to rebound it, go back and get it, shoot it again, go back and get it, shoot it again, until you start making them consistently till there is no more rebounds. So if you continue to work hard, you don't have to rebound anymore because you've had enough experience getting rebounds or rebounding from you know, life lessons or life experiences that you won't have to rebound as much anymore. So it plays a very important role. So if I'm shooting and I miss and I keep missing and I keep missing, then I'm going to keep trying. And that's what rebounding is all about, never giving up. And actually, some of the best rebounders or some of the strongest players on basketball teams are rebounders. You know, there's a lot more missed shots than there are made shots. Yeah. You know, so when someone shoots that ball and that rebound comes off, the guys who are very unique at getting that ball consistently, those are some of the toughest players on the team. And while we're at it, I led my team in rebounds my junior year in college.
Nice.
So, you know, I just thought about that. Wow, that was amazing. So I led my team in rebounds my junior year in college. For me, as a smaller guard or a smaller guy on the basketball court, you know, that's a big deal. Usually it's the taller guys who lead the team in rebounds, but that just goes to show you hard work pays off. If you continue to be determined, no matter how big the obstacle is, no matter how big the goal is that you set for yourself, you know, you continue to rebound, you'll reach those goals.
Nice. Is there a time in your life when things didn't go right? I know that happens for everyone, but you managed to rebound and figure it out?
For sure. In college, I just brought it up, but I broke 1 foot once and 1 twice, all in the same year. And I think I really don't care about other people's opinions because I'm so strong-minded, but there's a lot of people I think counted me out, you know, like, oh man, he broke his foot, he's not going to play anymore, or if he does play, he's not going to be at the level he was before. You know, he might not play professional basketball if the opportunity presents itself, but I took it all in stride, and I made sure I didn't miss a day of physical therapy. I actually stayed extra time on certain days at physical therapy, and I ended up having a great college career, and now I'm doing what I love for a living, playing for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right, so 2 broken feet doesn't mean anything.
No. Three total. Three
total?
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. If I just like fall on my wrist, I'm like crying.
No, but it was pretty awesome, and it was a great experience, and it let me know that, you know, perseverance is a big deal. You got to be able to persevere. You got to be able to overcome, and you got to listen to yourself. If it's something that you really want, and you know, you set your mind to it, you can accomplish it. If you know, you keep listening to the outside voices and people telling you, hey, you might not be able to be the same physically, you know, so maybe you should go another route. But no, this is my dream. So I persevered, and you know, I stayed the course, and here I am.
Now, nobody can do everything without some kind of help. And in basketball, the assists are really important.
Very much so.
So how do you relate using the assist to real life?
You know, I mentioned earlier, no one works alone. There's not one person that I don't think any of us knows that actually sits in a little bubble by themselves, you know, and get much done if you are working alone. You need people around you, and that's what the assist is all about on the basketball court. And I play point guard. So you bring the ball down the court. If 2 guys are coming to trap me, I know one guy's open. So I'm going to pass that person, and if he scores, we win together, you know, and that's what the assist is all about. So as it applies to life, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask a question, and more so for the kids. You know, as adults, we learn to speak in public and, you know, and be a little bit more outgoing. But if you're a kid and you have a question, you're never going to get your question answered or your problem solved if you don't have some assistance from maybe a trustworthy adult, sibling, a friend, or these kids live in an era of social media and Google and YouTube. You can type it in the World Wide Web and you'll get an answer right there.
Use technology for the assist.
Exactly. There you go. You can use technology for the assist. And some of these kids, they're afraid to do that. But I say to them, assistance is one of the best things we have as human beings. We naturally want to help each other out. And that's pretty much how assist applies to life.
What is the time when you really could use the assistance in life and it actually helped you become who you are?
I'd say the time when I broke I had those 3 breaks, and my parents, not only did I tell myself I wasn't going to give up, but I had my parents assisting in that positive encouragement. Like, oh, my mom's, oh, baby, you're going to be all right.
Moms, they're the best.
Yeah, exactly. You've done this and you've done that in your life. This is not the first time you got hurt. Remember when this and remember when that. I'd stepped on a nail when I was a kid at one point and like kind of went through my foot. So, my parents were still encouraging about that. Oh, you're going to be fine. I was like, oh, I don't want my foot chopped off.
Right.
You think a lockjaw and all that crazy stuff. But when I broke my foot 3 times, and then my dad's like, you're the strongest person I know. And don't forget, Pops is here for you. I'm on your team if no one else is on your team. Mm-hmm. And so that's, how the assistance helped me in my life. My parents giving me that positive encouragement. And I've been asked, one of my old bios about 5 or 6 seasons ago, they asked us, who's your hero? Who are your heroes, to all the players? And I always said my parents are my heroes because they encouraged me and they always put me in something positive, whether it was sports, whether it was arts and crafts. I made a lot of macaroni necklaces, by the way, when I was little.
Nice.
But they encouraged me no matter what it was. So they were huge in assisting me in my life.
You got to get encouragement for those macaroni necklaces.
Oh, man.
Those are important as a kid.
And then you put them in a little die, you can color them. And,
right? That's a lot of effort. They don't understand. People who don't appreciate them don't understand.
Before bling, I had macaroni on my neck.
Right. So you're surrounded by a crowd, constant noise, people cheering you on, people coming to see you, but you have to focus and really get the tricks and the game done. How do you manage that, and what's your best advice to paying attention to the game instead of paying attention to all the noise around you?
There's this old thing, proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you've practiced and practiced and practiced, your butt off, once those lights come on and you're in that arena and everybody's screaming and yelling, you've practiced enough to have a certain level of focus to where, okay, I got to concentrate, or I got to focus on this particular shot or these particular plays. And the Harlem Globetrotter playbook is very elaborate. There's a lot of movement, and we have some of the most coolest passes in the world, so some of these passes are coming crazy, especially when you're new to the team.
Yeah.
So I prepared myself before every game. I close my eyes and I visualize, and I see, the plays in my head, and where the ball might come from, and then all of a sudden you learn how to turn it off. And then you run into the crowd and go have fun with the Globetrotter fans. So I think, hats off to my teammates for being capable of learning how to flick that switch. Turn it on and turn it off. Because when the crowd's real loud and like you're taking a long shot and they're like, make it, make it. I mean, that positive encouragement helps, but there's also a lot of pressure.
Pressure's on.
And then you're like, okay, well, I've done this before. I got skills. And then you knock that long shot down, and now you turn it off, and you walk into that crowd, and you maybe cut a little rug, go give some high fives and some hugs, throw a kid your headband, So you learn how to keep that focus through all this loud noise and all these distractions by being prepared prior to the game, by focusing, practicing, working on your craft, and doing what you know how to do.
Now today with technology and everything, distractions are plentiful. How do you stay focused? How do you apply this idea to real life?
I think you have to set a goal. I'm big on writing things down, too. If you write it down, I think you can make it happen and it'll manifest itself. If you keep telling yourself something, you still can make it happen, but I think if you write it down and you see it visually, I think once you visualize it, after you write it down, I think it manifests itself, you know, and so anything in life when, you know, kids or even adults, if you have a goal that you want to set, you know, I think you should write it down. I think you should keep a separate little notebook, put goals at the top, all caps, by the way, and then goal number one, you take those baby steps to reach that goal. So I would say write everything down, visualize it, close your eyes, picture yourself getting there. I mean, you can go to sleep on it and maybe have a dream about it, you know. You can turn your music off while you're driving, you know, and put the phone down so you don't get on those social media platforms and, you know, and distract yourself from your goals. So I would say write it down and then give yourself some time to think about it and, you know, turn your phone off for an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
Put those goals to action.
Yep. Flip that laptop closed, you know, put a book on top of it so you don't see it.
Turn off your Apple TV, everything.
Exactly, you know, and then, you know, don't worry about, you know, Netflix is going to get their $10. You don't have to turn it on, they're taking it out anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't watch too much Netflix too, but I think once you write it down, I think it manifests itself.
Nice. I guess I got to start writing a lot of stuff down. Buckets Blakes, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.